Well, hi there and welcome to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
Hey, I'm Eric Stromer.
And we love to improve your home and improve your life.
Yes, we do.
And I don't want to stress you out, but we're now in November.
Okay, now you've stressed me out.
Because you know what means?
It means that
it's
now,
over. It's over.
Here's what it means. It means that the glorious holiday of Halloween has just ended. And it's time now to think about Thanksgiving.
And everything else.
And all the other things.
But before we get too worried about it, it also is a good time to really enjoy your garden in terms of edibles. I mean, a lot of us think about summertime, the high season for the veggie garden. But, autumn also brings some cool things. So let's get down to that.
You think it's over,
No.
The last of the tomatoes shrivel up on the vine. You pull them out and you think,
That's
what?
so sad.
We're going to start again in the spring. But no, there's more. There's a whole
more.
in-between place.
There is. I mean, this is a good time we talked about for tulip bulbs, but this is also a really great time for like lettuce and different kind of sweet root crops and things like that. Cabbage cousins. Yummy, healthy things.
Well, I make the sauerkraut.
I know you do.
I know. And listen, homemade cabbage made sauerkraut. You kidding me?
Okay.
That'll make the neighbors go nuts. They'll be lining up at the door.
So let's help you kind of get into this whole groove that's going to extend that vegetable season or maybe get you started for the first time beyond the heat of summer that's now, for the most part, behind us.
Yeah. Yeah, take me on around the world tour because I admittedly I have not done the fall stuff.
I haven't either. I'm admitting too.
Let's do this together.
We're gonna dive
together.
in.
Here, take my hand. Let's walk through fall planting land.
Because we've been known to do this. I mean, we talk about it and we go, wait, we're going to do it again.
We're going to do it.
We're going to do it because it feels good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So how about first? Let's take a look at your area's first frost date. Kind of consider that, and then look at the number of days that you have to harvest for each vegetable that you love to eat.
Well,
and
see,
then you
now
want to plant.
that right there is obvious but fantastic information that you wouldn't think of.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know when the first frost is going to come. If you're in Detroit, it's going to be different than in Oklahoma, for example. Right?
So,
good
being from the Illinois area, when was the frost for you?
Well, now that depends on where we are in time. Like lately, in the 70s when I was there, it was a whole different story, because I think there's a bit of a climate shift. Now, the first, probably not till at least late November.
Because fall color certainly is almost over with.
Exactly. Maybe even the middle of December. Like there was not much snow.
Okay.
A little more than normal last year, but no, it's definitely different.
Okay, so then what you want to do...
Farmer's Almanac, right? They'll do They'll do a good idea.
And there's also a great website, Better Homes and Gardens. You can go to bhg.com, and they have this plant encyclopedia.
Yeah.
The kind of catalogs, with the plants and your region, and even the USDA website. USDA has that whole, hardiness map of the United States, and you can see. But
isn't it true though that the Farmer's Almanac is kind of eerily specific and accurate?
It's kind of hocus pocusy, almost.
Yeah, like I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
Some guy with a divining rod and a laptop is figuring out exactly when it really happens.
I know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like science meets horoscope in a way.
Yeah.
But you know what? So if you're thinking about that, what you want to do is you take a look at the number of days to harvest for each vegetable you want to plant. You should be able to find that number on the seed packets too, by the way.
Yeah.
In the description. And then you use that number to count back from the first frost date. So then you'd add 2 weeks. Just
to give yourself a plus or minus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the plants are going to grow a little more slowly as the days kind of shorten to fall.
Gotcha.
So, let's say, for instance, you wanted to grow, French breakfast radishes.
Well, yeah, that was my first on the list.
And so, and they take about 25 days, so you kind of backtrack from there. Anyway, so that's kind of step one in terms of getting your mental, strategy
That's
going.
just the overview. That's the framework of which all this is going to be in. Okay.
But now you want to get the garden ready. You want to make room for your fresh crop of fall veggies and plants by ripping out any other things that are no longer doing well. The tomatoes, let's say, that have that they got sick, or there's
it's over.
It's okay.
I've got some sun-dried tomatoes.
I don't want it to be a reminder of failure. No, it was a success.
It was a very good crop.
And you had sun-dried tomatoes.
Oh, yeah, no, I have sun-dried tomatoes. Because after a while you're like, okay, enough already. I can't pick another one of these. And then, of course, I can make delicious sun-dried tomato sandwiches.
So you would I love sun-dried tomato sandwiches. Yeah. And you could just basically pull any of the weeds and don't steal any moisture. But let's say that, you've done all this. Your vegetable garden has a lot of clay in the soil, right?
Yeah.
It's helpful now to work in, like we always talk about, some compost.
You want to amend it a little bit.
Yeah, so it's going to
fluff it up.
Fluff it up, so it's going to have fluffy hair and look pretty, but also it'll more importantly have the right stuff to be healthy.
Drainage.
If you are going to start from seed, you'll probably grow most of your vegetables for your fall garden from seed. You can use extra seeds that you didn't plant in the spring, or you can buy some new ones.
Okay, good.
Okay,
yep.
And a lot of garden centers, by the way, put their seeds on discount kind of late in the season, so you might be able to save a lot of money by growing vegetables right now through the fall.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, and you want to make sure that you use a high-quality seed starting mix. You know what I'm saying? You can get some of that.
So are we going to germinate these bad boys before we throw them in, or are we going to just throw them right in?
You can germinate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you want to basically wash them in a solution of 1 part bleach to 10 parts water to kill
Now, isn't
any
that
disease.
Interesting? That's exactly what I bathe in nightly.
But I'm talking about, if for the containers.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, I was going to say, it smells a little bleachy in here.
But I've never looked lighter.
Yes. And there's no sickness on you.
No, nothing.
So basically, if you are using containers that you've had those clay pots, we know that the bugs can lay eggs and there's disease that can just be hidden to you.
Yeah.
So scrub them with a little bit of bleach and water.
And that, by the way, that's a good idea all year round when you're going to start some new plants. Because, these things are going to harbor some bacteria or disease from the plants that may not have made it a couple of months before, so you might as well do it to all of them.
And if you are going to use a container, always remember that besides having that drainage hole, we have a whole bucket of leftover terracotta pot little chips.
That diverts that water so it doesn't run out so fast.
Slows it down. You get like 2 chips. You kind of make a little teepee over the hole. Anyway, we're just getting started. We have more tips for you to make sure that you are now getting into the fall veggie gardening thing. It's kind of fun.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, you're listening to Home Wizards.
Jimmy quit, Jody got married. I should've known.
Is it realistic for me to think, Eric Stromer, since you play the drums, that I'm doing that day 2 of my lessons?
Yeah, you'll be playing drums. And by the way, your air drumming looked very, very much in the pocket, which is what you say to a good drummer.
Okay.
Yeah, it looked good.
I see. That's my fantasy, to take drummer lessons.
I don't know why you even need lessons.
Guitar
just
lessons.
Get it. Just jump on the kit, baby doll.
And a cowbell.
Let's groove.
Anyway, Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole. Besides talking about home improvement, we like talking about music.
Yeah, we do.
But right now we're talking about Home Wizards, as we love to help you improve your home and your life. And we're just kind of getting into the fall veggie gardening thing, because both Eric and I admit we haven't really done this. We do it in the spring
because you just don't think you've got any time left once the stuff from the spring kind of and fall is done. You think, well, that's it. But no, there's way more to do.
Well, you think about those darn holidays, and I say darn because we love the holidays, but it kind of occupies your everything.
Unless Uncle Jimmy shows up to the party, then we got ourselves a problem.
Who's Uncle Jimmy?
He's my fictitious guy that I use whenever I'm talking about the guy that doesn't leave, he doesn't bring anything. Basically, he's my brother.
Oh, okay. He's a freeloader.
Kind of.
Oh, so he's not
Heart of gold.
But
he sleeps soundly right after the meal.
Heart of gold. All right, so back to the harvest of gold, right?
Okay, yeah.
So we've just started talking about getting your garden, your area, it can be in the soil or in the ground, ready to have some fall veggies. And this is a good time, if all the stuff that you've been trying, is already dead, now you can bring in some new things from seed.
Sure.
Or those little small plants, whichever you prefer. But if you are going to use a container, make sure that you clean out that pot because it's been sitting there.
And again, the solution is bleach. It's
1 part
ratio?
bleach, 10 parts water.
Okay, 1 to 10.
Just a little bit.
Just enough to get rid of the
rinse it out.
bacteria.
It's kind of like if you rinse out your mouth with a little peroxide.
By the way, my hygienist recommends using a little bleach in water, about the same mixture to get under the gums.
Not hydrogen peroxide, but actual
just
bleach.
A little bleach, yeah. Apparently, the ADA has approved this.
Okay.
Now, of course, I can no longer taste food, but my teeth and gums look great. No, seriously, though, that's something.
Okay, a little medical advice.
Thank
we have
you
it all,
very
right?
Much. I'm here for you.
But in the container, by the way, in addition to cleaning it, you want to make sure that drainage hole, save some of those broken terracotta chips like we do. You might want to have like 20 of them.
Well, because otherwise you water and it all just pours out of the bottom.
Because really, these pots are notorious for not holding the water. They just leach it out.
Right.
And then you just kind of overlap them, done. And now let's talk about some other things to make sure that you're ready for your veggie garden. So after you've chosen the veggies, you've chosen the seeds or the little baby plants that you see in the garden centers, and you've already added some compost to your soil. You've amended it, right?
Yeah.
Now it's really important to keep the veggie plants well watered after you've planted them.
Which, by the way, will be much easier now that it's not 1,000,000 degrees.
Yeah.
So that's good. So you definitely want to water accordingly, and water, walk away, realize the next day, is it still wet? If it is, obviously you may not have to water. But anyway, go ahead.
And then also you want to, because of the dry weather, well, you wouldn't think about it, as there like that dry wind, the cold wind, that can be very dehydrating. Think about how in the fall and the winter, how you kind of get chapped lips. When you go to the mountains in the snow, you go,
I just bought chapstick yesterday for that very reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then just like that, you want to have some protectant, for your plants, especially from the frost. So you might want to get, I don't know, you could get like an old sheet or a blanket or a tarp, to cover them over. Oh, you're applying the chapstick
right now because I felt my lips are dry. Yeah, yes. I know. I'm right here with you.
Okay. So the plants can feel parched like that. So they need to have the water, but also to be protected, right? And then to get a last blast from your veggie patch with some quick crops that go from seed to table in 40 days or less.
That's it? 40 days, done?
Think about things like arugula. Mustard, spinach. I love steamed spinach.
Oh,
do you?
Boy, yeah. The only problem with spinach is that you think you're going to have enough, and then it cooks down.
Tucked to a tablespoon.
I've got a thimble full of spinach, and I bought like 9 pounds.
Is that like you? We go to those big, warehouse stores, and we get this big bag of it.
You think like, I'll never use all this. Cook it down, and you got
barely enough
you could
for
use 9 bags of this stuff.
What happens to it? But I love a little bit of sour cream and Parmesan cheese.
Hey, no, take it easy.
But anyway, so you could be growing your own spinach, your mustard, your arugula, some crispy red radishes.
Sure.
You like to
I
nibble
love
on.
Those are my favorite.
They're yummy, like for
little Himalayan salt on them. Bam, done.
So all those things, are ready to pick in a little more than a month.
Boy,
so
that's
think
amazing.
That's instant satisfaction right there. So, and also you can try some pretty Asian greens that are out there, right? Or even just, you might want to use baby plants for that to add to stir fries or even soups for your fall soups.
And by the way, then you can just say, these are just for my fall garden.
Yes.
Come have some of these. Come experience some of these delicious radishes.
Experience the harvest.
Where'd you get those? Oh, they're from my fall garden.
Yes. And you have
fall
to add
garden,
the word
they say.
fall.
What do you mean fall garden?
Fall edible.
No, I plant between.
Yeah.
Right before the frost, which I know when it comes because I'm Farmer's Almanac.
I want to plant beets because I'm such a fan of beets. And by the way, this is a good time to get both the golden and the red beets in. And just think, you're going to have...
By the way, I had a golden beet and red beet and...
goat cheese?
No, burrata cheese. Have you had the burrata? It's like almost like a runny mozzarella with the crostini, the tostini.
I loved burrata on TV. Wasn't that was a good detective show.
He was Robert. What's his name?
I think that was Burrata, though.
Sorry.
Hakuna Matata, Burrata.
He's not the knock the battery off my shoulder guy. No, that's Bob Conrad.
Okay.
Anyway, we go down this rat hole and we'll never get out. That's 60s TV and I'm done. Forget about it.
But you had the beets. It was golden beets.
Golden beets, red beets, burrata cheese, and then the little crostini with butter.
See, so you could make this yourself. You could grow this.
Could you imagine a platter of that?
And some Chinese cabbage, maybe some broccoli. I'm just thinking all of this would be great, and it's going to take you no more than maybe a little more than a month and a half, and you're going to start seeing the satisfaction to eat them. And the kale. Have you grown your own kale?
I have not, but I'll tell you. Not only is this tasty and delicious and nutritious, but it's beautiful. This is a beautiful garden when it starts to show up.
Very much so.
Looks a heck of a lot better than the dying things that you haven't
your
pulled
sun-dried
out,
tomatoes
you know what I mean?
they're not really edible anymore.
No.
I definitely want to try some kale because when you go to the grocery store, it's not cheap.
No.
It's amazing. And beets aren't cheap. Certain stores, you get and they sell you like a little teeny tiny one that's like the size of a billiard ball. I went to this other natural, I'll say it, it's called Sprouts.
Sure.
And the beet was the size of a softball or almost a grapefruit.
That's too big.
No, that's good.
You like the big one?
I love it big. I love it big.
All right.
Well, I mean, I know it's a lot to eat, but I feel like I'm getting a better deal than a little teeny tiny
maybe you're right.
ping pong ball almost. Yeah. Anyway, growing fall vegetables, in the cold climates, can be, it's really going to be well worth the effort. And even if you suffer an early frost, you're still going to enjoy a long harvest if you plant the right vegetables and give them that little bit of protection,
Can I just tell you a little something about that market you just mentioned?
Oh, yeah.
I purchased turkey bacon from there.
And?
Almost $2 less than Whole Foods.
Yeah, I know.
Love it.
Yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah, anyway, go ahead.
So all the vegetables on this list are suitable for your fall garden, and we'll put this on the website. But just be thinking about this. Maybe you're driving around as you're listening, or you're just you're making a note and as you're in the garden right now. But definitely you want to think about beets.
And may I just also interject that there are some vegetables that are that will survive frost. Let me just talk about those.
Sure.
So beets and broccoli and Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrots, collard greens, kale, kohlrabi, leeks, lettuces, mustard, rutabagas, Swiss chard, and turnips. Those will all survive a frost.
See?
So I think those would be a safe bet in case you're not quite sure and you don't have that window right timed.
I think that's brilliant because now, you're not going to feel like you're blowing it somehow.
Well, yeah, because you think, oh my goodness, it's cold, it's frosty, now I've ruined everything, I've wasted all my time. Curse those home wizards, but no. Not now, because those will survive.
We're about giving you a victory garden.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you wanted to, let's say, try some beets, just a few details, you'd want to make sure that you have part sun to sun, that you would plant it under about 6 inches to the height is about 6 inches to 3 feet, but you want to plant it. It would be about 2 inches or so into the soil.
Okay.
And I just love the idea that now you're going to be able to. The leaves are going to be green with the veins matching the root color.
Oh, that's
Isn't
cool.
that
Is
tricky?
that what it is?
That's the trick.
That's cool.
Isn't that kind of a Mother Nature wonder? Yeah.
That's the advertisement.
It is. It's like, oh, I'm a purple beet because I've got the purple veining.
Look at my hat. Hello. It's like Paul Lind. Hello. Look at my hat. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I think that beets will be a success story. Kale, broccoli, all of these. I mean, and then if you're going to try it in a container, don't be afraid.
No.
And just make sure.
I like containers. You can move them around if the light isn't working for you.
You totally can move them around.
That's not a bad idea. Just make sure you don't use your lower back when you move them.
And make sure, too, that you have great drainage and that you're going to protect them in the frost, and you are good to go.
Yeah.
Send us pictures of what you grow, for darn sake, all right?
Again, you're going to put your local market out of business. Sorry, chain supermarkets.
Sorry, farmers markets.
Yeah.
Anyway, check it out. We'll put all this on the website. We want to have you experience this success and the fun of a true fall harvest edible garden. Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, the fun continues after this.
She's mighty, just letting it all hang out.